Let's get ready to rumble!
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes.
But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that exactly is the whole view of the Democrats. And that's how they've been dealing with the SAVE Act. And today we're going to see if the SAVE Act can actually be attacked by the Democrats. But that was your cliff notes. That's exactly why they don't want the SAVE Act to pass. It's all about corruption. So let's go ahead and listen to some of the defense against the SAVE Act, shall we? We're going to listen to. All right. Let's see what we have first.
Mr. Speaker, let's stop pretending the Save America Act is about election security, because it is not. This bill is about power and silencing Americans. Republicans don't want voting. Thousands of Americans are protesting, demonstrating against the policies of this administration. Republicans know that they will lose the midterms. The president asked them to cancel the election, and guess what? This bill is the next best thing to that. This is a show your papers mandate to disqualify Americans who oppose their evil agenda. Americans would have to appear in person and present a passport or birth certificate just to register. And again, every single time they update their registration, every time you move, if you get married, if you get divorced, blah, blah, blah. Here's who it will hurt. More than 140 million Americans don't have a passport, including.
Okay, they don't have a passport. But did you see the way that she just said every time they go to vote, they have to show a identification? Oh no! Every time you have to go vote, you have to go and do you have to show your ID. Jeez, what else would you have to go and show your identification for? Right? What else? Oh no.
Republicans, by the way, as many as 69 million women who follow the traditional practice of changing their name after marriage do not have a birth certificate that matches their legal name.
Guys, they pointed this out, and I think it's funny, right? When you're born with that specific name. That's the name you were born with. You don't change your birth certificate even after you're married. Imbeciles, idiots. You change other things when you're married. And this is the line that they continually bringing up. Oh, women that get married they can't change. They haven't changed their birth certificate. You can't change your birth certificate, you idiot. You were born with the name that you were given. And when you get married, that's the name that you're now married with, but you weren't born with that name. This is one of the dumbest arguments ever.
Republicans know this and want to use that misinformation to block them from voting. This bill would eliminate the voter registration methods over 90% of Americans rely on, including online, mail-in, and DMV registration. In rural areas, Americans would be forced to drive 7 or 8 hours round trip just to show documents, and they would have to do.
Where? Drive 7 to 8 hours? Where? I'm pretty sure your voting booth is literally right there in near a library, community center. What the hell are they talking about? Who the hell drives? Around my area, I got there's a bunch of booths, and then there's a specific one about 2 minutes away from where I'm going. Where the fuck is she talking about? I swear to God, these people got to sit down one-on-one with a normal person, because the way they're acting about this bullshit is crazy. Let's go ahead and talk to somebody else. Who else? Mr. Correa, step up to the plate, my boy.
For 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, in California, when you register to vote, you do so under penalty of perjury. Then they cross-check your information to make sure that you're eligible. And then we have a very active district attorney in Orange County that says, if you violated this under penalty of perjury, we're going down on you. Instead, I would ask my friends, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, let's do everything we can to make sure that every eligible American actually votes.
That's what we're trying to do, you idiot. We're trying to make sure that the people who are actually voting are eligible. They're literally American citizens. That's all they're asking. That's all they're asking to do, you idiot. That's the second Hispanic person. You know this shit? This is the second Hispanic person we've seen it. They're all from fucking California too. Let's go to this person. Y'all might think I'm picking on people, but I'm not really picking on them. Let's go to our favorite people. We know this lady, Delia Ramirez. We talked about her in the ICE hearing. Let's see what she says.
Students, indigenous people, and anyone who can't afford the burdens of a new bill. The Save America Act is yet another Republican attempt to intimidate and suppress the votes of anyone who threatens their extremist white supremacist agenda.
Here we go. A Latina with talking points. Bro, you know, this woman is no different than AOC, sorry. Right? Alejandra Cortez. These women literally are the same exact shit. They literally are the same exact shit. And you know what's funny? Spanish ladies are very feisty and stuff like that, so I understand where she's coming from. There's no white people in Venezuela. And so I just find it funny that she continually does this whole racist, white nationalist, blah, 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 this, blah, blah. Is she a Latino nationalist? Is she a Latino nationalist? Does she only care about her race? Right? Because don't let this woman fool you. Given the push and shove, this woman would spit on black people, would spit on Asian people over Latinos all day. That's how most people operate, bro.
Don't take my word for it. Just look for the threats to surround the polls with gun-wielding masked men, and it'll become clear to you that Trump and Republicans...
Where are these guys? They weren't there in the 2024 election, and they definitely weren't there in the 2020 election. Where are these masked men that are at the polls, Ms. Ramirez? I bet we go to Guatemala and El Salvador and Mexico, we'll find those jokers, right? We'll find the cartel like that, right? In those polls, but not here.
Want to control who votes so they can remain in power. That's not democracy. That is destroying free, fair elections. It's just another page from the authoritarian playbook, and we must have the moral clarity in this place to stand against it, just like our ancestors did. I want to urge my...
Which ancestors, bro? Which ones? Your white ancestors, the founders of the country, those ancestors, they weren't Hispanic. They weren't our people. They definitely were not. And by the way, Ms. Ramirez, in Central South American countries where only Latinos are there, is that Latino power? Is that Latino nationalism as well?
Colleagues to vote no on this bill and to vote with moral clarity. With that, I yield back.
This woman has no moral clarity, bro. If you remember, if you watched the other video with the ICE things, you see how she was just being very, it needs to be abolished. Something needs to take its place. You guys are horrible. You guys are criminals. The moral clarity that this woman keeps talking about is continually just calling the Republicans. And this is what I asked. I asked him the question. Would this woman call me? I'm not Republican, but would this woman, if I say I support some of the immigration policies and I support the SAVE Act, that I think it should be good for people to show IDs and have IDs on them so they can vote. Would this woman also say that I'm part of the racism? Because I would look at her and say, well, you're nothing but a minority supporter. You're a sympathizer. You're the one that actually is looking at race. You're the only one that's being like, oh, stick with only los Latinos y los negros, con los Latinos y los negros. That's all we have to stick with. Bro, shut up, bro. And this is what I hate. She's a Hispanic congresswoman, and she's still talking shit like the white people about white people, and the white people don't let me do shit, but you're a congresswoman. What the hell are you talking about, bro? Let's do this guy, because I actually found this guy interesting. He's from Virginia. Oh, this lady's funny too. This lady's funny.
10 points in the upcoming midterms, because losing is what happens when you tell people you're going to tackle the high cost of living and you turn around and hike their healthcare premiums. You hike their grocery costs. Also, billionaires can weasel out of paying their fair share. They're trying to say this is a voter ID bill. That's not what's happening here. Let's just look at a typical mom. You guys must know some working mothers.
Here we go.
The ones that I hear from across my district and across this country,
Tell us.
they are struggling
Really?
to put food on the table for their kids, working 2 jobs to try and make ends meet,
Yeah.
trying to juggle getting their kids to school, maybe catching an occasional game, fearing they're never going to be able to find childcare they can afford, and praying nobody in the family gets sick because they can't afford a doctor either.
Okay.
And now you're going to say to those women, because they got married and changed their names,
Right.
they have to go down to a clerk and prove
Yep.
they're citizens, sign affidavits, do this in person.
Yeah. So when you get married, right? And I would ask her, did you do this? When you got married and you changed your last name, unless you're one of these feminists, right? Feminists are, oh, I gotta keep my last name because I don't want to, in case something happens. But like, you know, if when you're married and you do change names and you have to go to the court, did you go and change stuff to make sure that your driver's license, your whatever, your house registration, your insurance, all the other extra bullshit, did you go and change your last name and change all of that so that that your identity matches who you are now because you're married, much like a lot of women have done? Again, remember, you cannot change the name on your birth certificate, but everything else can be changed when you're married. Why? Because when you're married and you take on your husband's last name, right? Because your kids are going to take the father's last name. All of that, you want to make sure that you have the ID up to date, because you're gonna go get credit cards. You're gonna put them in schools. You're gonna have emergency contacts. You're gonna take them to doctor's appointments. You're gonna do all that shit, and they probably need your correct information. These people they're so fucking stupid, bro. And these are the people in charge, ladies and gentlemen, of our fucking democracy, of our fucking republic.
This is a minefield of red tape that you have put in front of women and American citizens and their right to vote.
First, guys, listen to this. First is that black people can't get IDs, right? First, minorities can't get IDs, right? They can't get a driver's license. They don't know they don't know how to get their own state IDs. They don't know how to do. They don't know how to get any type of information. They don't know how to do all that shit. They don't know how to update it, even though in the 21st century, we made everything fucking easy that they can go online and register stuff and update their information, right? And the thing is, like, when you're signing up to social media accounts and sign up to whatever other websites that you're paying for, subscriptions and stuff like that, you constantly get emails saying, update your information, update information. So are they saying that these people are stupid, that most of us are stupid, and we can't update information? Like, I don't know. I don't know. When you're doing any type of billing and stuff like that, you update, you put your address, phone number, all that shit, your everything, your name and all that stuff. You know where to go to do that. You go to a tax collector, you go to your downtown, where the hell you got it, bro. They make it too easy now for you to have any type of form of ID. These idiots are saying that we're too stupid to get all that. And not only that, they really think they're smart, and they're telling us that we are not smart enough to do it. But in real life, these are the idiots. Now, let me tell you real quick, right? Because I don't want to drag this too long, because it's the same argument over and over again. Particularly now that they're basically saying that women are the ones being being targeted because married women can't change their birth certificate, and they can't go get ID. All right, cool. This is what the SAFE Act requires, right? It just says states are prohibited from accepting or processing voter registration applications for federal elections unless the applicant provides documentary proof of citizenship at the time of registration. All right, here are the acceptable forms of proof. A real ID, right? A real ID. a U.S. passport, a birth certificate, military IDs combined with records of showing birthplace or service, certain tribal IDs or American Indian cards, naturalization certification, or other DHS issued documentation providing. Look, it doesn't say you only have to go show me your passport. I get it. Some people don't have passport because they have never been out the country. It doesn't negate the fact that you have a driver's license, because if you're on the highway and you're driving a vehicle, your dumbass requires a license. And if you don't have a license, you probably have a permit. Okay? So they're basically saying, oh, you got to go show a passport. That's not, it says you can choose to prove one of these. If you don't have a passport, that doesn't mean you can't vote. It just means you have to show another one of these other proofs. Idiots, right? It says here, alternative process for those without standard documentation. States must establish an alternative process allowing applicants to submit other evidence of citizenship, potentially including attestation by reviews. Guys, when you apply to a job and they're doing all the, your W-2s and how you're going to get paid, they literally ask you for more than one form of ID all the time. Almost in every job, you're going to get multiple asks. When you apply to a school, multiple forms of ID to identify the individual. These people, the leaders of our country, of the republic, are basically saying, well, people can't change birth certificate names. No duh. And a lot of them don't have passports. Who gives a shit? Who cares? They have IDs besides passports, and those are just as valid. All you would have to do is take out your license when you go to vote, and they'll register and they'll match that and make sure that you're an American citizen. This is not difficult shit, but what you're seeing is the greatest stupidity on the planet being shown by both Republicans and Democrats, particularly Democrats in this issue. Republicans have been stupid on other shit right now, right, with the Bad Bunny crap. But here, I'm literally, what we need to do is have these people debate normal normal American citizens and do that. These people need to go to like a neighborhood. Do you have an ID? You have an ID? You have an ID? And not be sly about it, right? Because if you let them be sly about it, they'll be sly about it. They'll be like, oh, do you have passport? No, I don't. Oh, see, oh no, she doesn't have. Oh no, they don't have a passport. They can't vote. Oh no, the Republicans are trying to stop you from voting because you don't have a passport, ma'am. Do you have an ID, a driver's license? Yes. Oh, you can vote. Then you can vote. But I'm assuming you have a birth certificate, right? Yes, I have a birth certificate, right? With the name that you were given at birth. Yes. Okay, no issue. No issue. Because even if you say, oh, your birth, you can't change your birth line, you can still be like this. Yeah, this is the name I was born, but I'm married, and this is the identification of me as a married individual with my new last name. This is nothing wrong. This is nothing difficulty. This is just charades and being stupid and stuff like that. And then the question really becomes, why the hell do these people not want to pass it, right? They came out and said, well, there's not a lot of fraud that's been going on. Not people. It's already illegal. Okay, cool. It's already illegal. Cool. You still have to show ID to do certain things. It's illegal for minors to buy alcohol, but people still got to go and show ID just to make sure you're not a minor, right? So we're just trying to make sure you're an American. But yeah, guys, let me know why would they bring why? What is the real reason why these people do not want to pass this thing for ID? It's because they think that you think that the Democrats are really sly about having immigrants really try to vote into this election, or is it just because they're just really stupid and they just want control? Let me know what you think about this whole entire thing. And yeah, we'll keep talking about it, because I'm pretty sure this is not the last time we're here. But guys, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you for those who are there, and I'll catch you on the next episode.